Imagine for a moment that there exists a parallel version of you, a version that has actualized all that you desire to be, to do, and to have. This version of you stands not in some distant realm, unreachable and separate, but exists here and now within the vast spectrum of your own consciousness. This parallel you is not a figment of imagination, but a living reality within the infinite states of your being. Now I ask you to listen closely, for this parallel version of you has a message of utmost importance, a message so profound, so transformative, that to avoid it would be to deny yourself the very essence of your divine nature. This message, my friends, is the key to unlocking the limitless potential that resides within you. The parallel you speaks of a fundamental truth, a truth that has been whispered by the sages throughout the ages, echoed in the corridors of time, and now stands before you demanding recognition. This truth is simple yet profound. You are the operant power in your world. Your consciousness, your imagination, is the very foundation upon which your reality is built. Let us delve deeper into this revelation. The parallel wants you to know that the world you perceive, the circumstances you find yourself in, the very fabric of your existence, is but an outward picture of your inner assumptions. Every experience, every encounter, every moment of your life is a reflection of the state of consciousness you occupy. Consider for a moment the implications of this truth. If your world is a mirror of your consciousness, then to change your world, you need only change your consciousness. The parallel you has mastered this art and now beckons you to do the same. It urges you to awaken to your true nature as the author of your life story. But how, you may ask, does one change their consciousness? The answer lies in the power of your imagination. Your imagination, far from being a mere faculty for daydreaming, is the very workshop wherein your world is fashioned. The parallel you understands this intimately and employs this knowledge with unwavering conviction. Imagine, if you will, a desire you hold dear. Perhaps it's a loving relationship, a fulfilling career, radiant health, or abundant wealth. Now, instead of yearning for this desire as something outside of yourself, something to be attained in some distant future, the parallel you invites you to assume the feeling of its fulfillment now. This, my friends, is the crux of the message, the secret that the parallel you wants you to embrace wholeheartedly. The art of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is through this assumption, this living in the end, that you align yourself with the version of you that has already realized this desire. Let me illustrate this principle with a simple exercise. Close your eyes for a moment and think of something you deeply desire. Now, instead of contemplating how to achieve it, I want you to imagine how you would feel if this desire were already fulfilled. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the deep sense of gratitude that would accompany its realization. Allow this feeling to permeate every fiber of your being. As you engage in this exercise, you are doing more than just visualizing. You are stepping into the consciousness of the parallel you who has already experienced the fulfillment of this desire. You are bridging the gap between your current state and the state of your wish fulfilled. The parallel wants you to know that this feeling, this assumption of the wish fulfilled, is the secret to manifestation. It is not about forcing change in the external world, but about changing your inner world, your state of consciousness. As you persist in this new state, the outer world has no choice but to conform to your inner assumptions. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, surely it can't be that simple. Surely there must be more to it than just imagining and feeling. And to this, the parallel responds with unwavering certainty. Yes, it is that simple, and yes, there is more to it, but that more is not what you might expect. The more is not about external action, though action will naturally flow from your changed state. The more is about persistence and faith. The parallel you has mastered the art of unwavering faith in the reality of their imaginal acts. They understand that the outer world may not immediately reflect their inner change, but they refuse to be swayed by appearances. This, my dear friends, is where many falter on the path to manifesting their desires. They begin with enthusiasm, imagining their wish fulfilled, feeling the joy of its realization. But when the outer world doesn't immediately change, doubt creeps in. They begin to question, to waver, to lose faith in the power of their imagination. The parallel you wants you to know that this doubt, this wavering, is the only thing standing between you and the realization of your desires. For you see, the outer world is a shadow, a reflection of past assumptions. It takes time for it to catch up to your new state of consciousness. During this time, which some call the Sabbath, your faith is tested. But the parallel you has unwavering faith. They know that what they have imagined and felt as real must inevitably express itself in their outer world. They do not question when or how their desire will manifest. They simply know that it must, for it is law. This law, my friends, is as certain as the law of gravity. Just as an object released from your hand must fall to the ground, so must your assumptions, persisted in, find expression in your outer world. The parallel you lives by this law and invites you to do the same. Now let us address another aspect of this profound message. The parallel you wants you to understand that time as you perceive it in your outer world does not exist in the realm of imagination. In your imagination, you can be, do, or have anything instantly. The parallel has learned to leverage this truth to transcend the limitations of time. When you imagine and feel your wish fulfilled, you are not projecting into some future moment. You are experiencing it now, in the eternal present of your imagination. This is why the feeling is so crucial. It anchors your imaginal act in the now, making it a present fact in your consciousness. The parallel you wants you to know that this principle applies to every aspect of your life. Whether you seek to change your financial situation, heal your body, transform your relationships, or achieve any other desire, the process is the same. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Persist in that assumption. And watch as your outer world reshapes itself to match your inner conviction. But there's more, my friends. The parallel wants you to understand that this power is not limited to personal desires. You have the ability, indeed the responsibility, to use this power for the betterment of all. For you see, as you change your consciousness, you change the collective consciousness of humanity. Imagine, if you will, a world where every individual understood and applied this principle. A world where each person took responsibility for their state of consciousness, knowing that it shapes not only their personal reality but contributes to the collective experience of all. This is the world that the parallel you inhabits, and it is the world they invite you to create. Now, I can sense that some of you may be feeling overwhelmed by the magnitude of this revelation. You may be thinking, but Neville, how can I possibly maintain this state of consciousness consistently? How can I have unwavering faith when the outer world seems to contradict my inner assumptions? To this, the parallel you offers a compassionate yet firm response. They want you to know that, like any skill, this too requires practice. Just as a musician must practice their instrument daily to master it, so must you practice the art of conscious assumption daily to master your world. Begin with small things. Assume a state of consciousness where parking spaces are always available to you. Feel the satisfaction of effortlessly finding a spot each time you need one. As you see this assumption manifest in your experience, your faith will grow. Then move on to bigger things, always remembering that to your imagination, there is no difference between what you consider a small manifestation and a large one. The parallel you also wants you to know that setbacks and doubts are part of the journey. There may be times when you falter, when the outer world seems too stubborn, too unyielding to your new assumptions. In these moments, the parallel urges you to be gentle with yourself, but persistent. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your past assumptions. It may take time for it to fully align with your new state of consciousness. During this time, you may experience what seems like failure or setback. But the parallel wants you to know that these are not failures, but opportunities. Opportunities to strengthen your resolve, to deepen your understanding, to refine your ability to maintain your desired state, regardless of outer circumstances. This, my friends, is the true test of your faith. Can you persist in your assumption even when the outer world seems to deny it? Can you hold fast to the feeling of your wish fulfilled even when circumstances appear to be moving in the opposite direction? The parallel has mastered this art and assures you that you can too. Now let us address another crucial aspect of this message. The parallel wants you to understand the true nature of your being. You are not a limited physical being striving to manifest desires in a solid, immovable world. You are consciousness itself, pure awareness, temporarily focusing its infinite potential into this particular experience you call your life. This understanding is paramount. For when you truly grasp that you are not your body, not your circumstances, not your past, but the very awareness in which all these appear, you liberate yourself from all limitations. The parallel lives from this understanding and invites you to do the same. From this perspective, your desires are not something to be achieved, but states to be occupied. The parallel wants you to know that every desire you have is already fulfilled in the infinite vastness of your consciousness. Your task is not to make it happen, but to align yourself with the version of you that is already experiencing it. This alignment happens through your feeling, your assumption. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are tuning yourself to the frequency of its reality. You are stepping into the shoes of the parallel you who's already living that desire. But there's more, my friends. The parallel wants you to understand that this principle extends beyond individual desires. It encompasses the very nature of your reality. Your entire world, every person, every circumstance, every event is a reflection of your state of consciousness. This may seem like an overwhelming responsibility, but the parallel assures you that it is also your greatest power. For if your world is a reflection of your consciousness, then by changing your consciousness, you change your world, not just in parts, but in its entirety. Imagine the implications of this truth. Every person in your life is playing a role that you have assigned them through your assumptions. Every circumstance, whether perceived as positive or negative, is a manifestation of your inner state. The parallel lives with this awareness and invites you to awaken to it. Now, this doesn't mean that others don't have free will, or that you are somehow controlling them. Rather, it means that your experience of others, your perception of their behavior towards you, is a reflection of your assumptions about them and about yourself. The parallel wants you to know that this understanding is the key to transforming all your relationships. Instead of trying to change others, change your assumptions about them. Instead of reacting to their behavior, assume they are as you would like them to be. As you persist in this new assumption, you will be amazed at how your experience of them transforms. This principle applies not just to individuals, but to collective experiences as well. The state of your society, your nation, your world, is a reflection of collective consciousness. By changing your own consciousness, you contribute to shifting the collective. The parallel understands this and uses this knowledge to create positive change on a grand scale. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, if everything is a reflection of my consciousness, why would I ever choose to experience anything negative? This, my friends, is a profound question, and the answer reveals another layer of the parallel use message. You see, what you perceive as negative experiences are not punishments or failures, but opportunities for growth and expansion. They are calls to examine your consciousness, to uncover limiting beliefs and assumptions that may be operating beneath your conscious awareness. The parallel wants you to know that every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt or fear is an invitation to go deeper into yourself, to examine your assumptions, to expand your understanding of who you truly are. When you face a challenge, instead of seeing it as something to overcome in the outer world, see it as a signal to shift your inner world. Ask yourself, what assumption, what belief, what aspect of my consciousness is this situation reflecting? Then, instead of fighting against the outer circumstance, focus on shifting the inner state. This, my dear friends, is the art of living from the state of the wish fulfilled. It is not about ignoring or denying current circumstances, but about seeing through them to the truth of your being. It is about recognizing that your true power lies not in manipulating the outer world, but in commanding your inner world. The parallel has mastered this art. They do not waste energy fighting against unwanted circumstances. Instead, they invest their energy in assuming the state of consciousness that aligns with their desires. They know that as they maintain this state, the outer world must conform. Now let us delve even deeper into this profound message. The parallel wants you to understand that your imagination is not just a tool for manifesting desires, but the very substance of your reality. Your entire world, every aspect of your experience, is imagination made visible. This understanding revolutionizes your approach to life. Instead of seeing your imagination as something separate from reality, something to be used to change reality, you begin to see that it is reality. Your physical senses show you a world that seems solid and unchanging. But your imagination reveals the fluid, malleable nature of existence. The parallel lives from this understanding. They know that what appears to be fixed circumstances are really just solidified imagination. And just as they were created by imagination, they can be changed by imagination. This is why the parallel places such emphasis on the feeling, the assumption of the wish fulfilled. For in that feeling, in that assumption, lies the seed of a new reality. As you water that seed with your attention, as you nurture it with your unwavering faith, it grows into your new experience. But there's more, my friends. The parallel wants you to know that this principle extends beyond the manifestation of specific desires. It encompasses the very nature of your identity. Who you believe yourself to be, your self-concept, is the most fundamental assumption shaping your reality. The parallel has recognized this truth and has consciously chosen their self-concept. They see themselves as a divine being, as pure consciousness, temporarily focusing its infinite potential into this particular human experience. From this self-concept flows all their experiences, all their manifestations. Now I invite you to examine your own self-concept. Who do you believe yourself to be? What assumptions do you hold about your capabilities, your worth, your place in the world? The parallel wants you to know that these assumptions are not fixed truths, but choices that you can change at any moment. Imagine for a moment that you could choose any self-concept. Who would you choose to be? What qualities would you embody? What capabilities would you possess? The parallel urges you to make this choice consciously, to assume the self-concept of the person who already has all that you desire. This, my friends, is the ultimate use of your imagination. By consciously choosing, assuming a new self-concept, you set in motion a complete transformation of your world. For your outer world can only reflect what you hold to be true about yourself. Now, I can sense that some of you may be feeling overwhelmed by the magnitude of this responsibility. You may be thinking, but Neville, how can I possibly monitor and control all my assumptions? How can I maintain this new self-concept consistently? To this, the parallel offers a compassionate reminder. You are already doing this every moment of every day. Every assumption you hold, every belief you maintain is shaping your reality right now. The only difference is that most of this is happening unconsciously. The invitation is to bring this process into your conscious awareness, to take deliberate control of your assumptions. Start with your fundamental assumptions about the nature of reality. The parallel wants you to know that the world is not happening to you, but from you. You are not a powerless observer in a random universe, but the very source of your universe. This shift in perspective changes everything. From this new vantage point, you begin to see every experience as a reflection of your consciousness. You no longer see yourself as a victim of circumstances, but as the author of your life story. This is the perspective from which the parallel operates, and it is the perspective they invite you to adopt. But there's more to this message, my friends. The parallel wants you to understand that this power you possess comes with a profound responsibility. For as you awaken to your true nature as the operant power in your world, you also awaken to your connection to all of existence. You see, the consciousness that you are is not separate from the consciousness that animates all of life. It is one consciousness expressing itself in myriad forms. As you master the art of consciously shaping your reality, you simultaneously influence the collective reality we all share. This understanding leads to a natural state of compassion and love for all beings. For in recognizing your own divine nature, you recognize the divine in all. The parallel lives from this state of universal love and invites you to do the same. Imagine how your world would transform if you approached every interaction, every relationship from this state of consciousness. Imagine seeing the divine in every person you meet, recognizing that their copyright charge response was limited as it hit the maximum length allowed at this time. Behavior is a reflection of their own state of consciousness. This perspective transforms your relationships, your interactions, and ultimately your entire world. The parallel wants you to know that this state of consciousness is not something to be achieved, but to be remembered. It is your natural state, obscured only by the veils of limiting beliefs and assumptions. As you peel away these veils through conscious assumption and unwavering faith, you return to your true nature. This journey of remembrance is not always easy. The parallel acknowledges that there will be moments of doubt, times when the old patterns of thinking and feeling try to reassert themselves. In these moments, they urge you to be gentle with yourself, but persistent. Remember, my friends, that every moment is a new opportunity to choose your state of consciousness. If you find yourself slipping into old patterns, simply pause, take a breath, and consciously choose again. The parallel has mastered this art of constant vigilance and realignment, and assures you that with practice it becomes second nature. Now let us address a crucial aspect of this message. The parallel wants you to understand that this power you possess is not about controlling or manipulating the outer world. It is about aligning yourself with the infinite potential that you are. As you do this, you naturally attract experiences that resonate with your new state of being. This understanding liberates you from the need to micromanage every aspect of your life. Instead of trying to control every detail, you focus on maintaining the state of consciousness that aligns with your desires. The how, when, and where of manifestation are not your concern. Your only responsibility is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to live from that state. The parallel lives in this state of effortless creation. They understand that the universe has infinite intelligence and will orchestrate the perfect unfolding of events to match their inner state. They trust in this process implicitly and invite you to cultivate the same trust. This trust, my friends, is the foundation of true faith. It is not blind belief, but a deep knowing based on your understanding of the law of consciousness. As you apply this law and see its results in your life, your faith grows stronger, creating a virtuous cycle of ever-expanding manifestation. But there's more to this message, my dear friends. The parallel wants you to understand that this principle of conscious creation extends beyond your individual life. It is the very mechanism by which the entire universe operates. Every star, every planet, every atom is a manifestation of consciousness. The same law that governs your personal reality governs the cosmos. As above, so below. As within, so without. This understanding reveals the profound unity of all existence and your integral role within it. From this perspective, you begin to see your life not as an isolated journey, but as part of the grand unfolding of universal consciousness. Your personal growth, your manifestations, your very existence contributes to the evolution of the whole. The parallel lives with this cosmic awareness. They understand that as they elevate their consciousness, they elevate the consciousness of all. As they manifest their desires, they expand the possibilities for all of existence. They invite you to embrace this grand perspective and to recognize the cosmic significance of your journey. Now, I can sense that some of you may be feeling a bit overwhelmed by the magnitude of this revelation. You may be thinking, but Neville, how can I possibly live up to this cosmic role? How can I bear the responsibility of shaping not just my reality, but contributing to the reality of all? To this, the parallel offers a loving reminder. You are already fulfilling this role, whether you are conscious of it or not. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption you hold is already shaping your reality and contributing to the collective. The invitation is simply to do consciously what you have been doing unconsciously. Start where you are. Begin with your immediate experience. Choose a small aspect of your life that you wish to change and apply the principle of conscious assumption. As you see the results, your confidence will grow, and you will naturally expand your application of this law. The parallel assures you that as you embark on this journey of conscious creation, you will discover resources within yourself that you never knew existed. Strengths will emerge, insights will dawn, synchronicities will multiply. The universe itself will seem to conspire to support your new way of being. But remember, my friends, that this journey is not about reaching a final destination. It is about continual expansion, endless exploration of the infinite potential that you are. The parallel is not a static state to be achieved, but the ever-evolving expression of your divine nature. As you align yourself with this truth, you will find that your desires evolve as well. What once seemed like the ultimate goal becomes just a stepping stone to even greater expressions of your potential. This is the nature of consciousness, ever expanding, ever exploring, ever creating. The parallel wants you to know that this journey of conscious creation is the grandest adventure you can embark upon. It is a journey of self-discovery, of unlocking your infinite potential, of remembering your true divine nature. On this journey, you will encounter aspects of yourself that you never knew existed. You will uncover depths of wisdom, wells of strength, heights of joy that will astound you. You will come to know yourself as the infinite, eternal being that you truly are. But this journey is not just about personal expansion. As you elevate your consciousness, as you master the art of conscious creation, you become a beacon of light for others. Your very presence radiates the truth of infinite possibility, inspiring those around you to awaken to their own divine nature. The parallel understands this ripple effect and uses it consciously to contribute to the awakening of all of humanity. They invite you to do the same, to recognize that your personal journey of awakening is simultaneously a service to all of existence. Now, as we near the end of this message, I want to emphasize a crucial point. The parallel wants you to understand that this message, this invitation to conscious creation, is not something external to you. It is not coming from some separate, more evolved version of yourself. This message is arising from the depths of your own being. It is your own higher self, your own divine nature, calling you to remember who you truly are. The parallel you is not separate from you, but is the fullest expression of your own potential, beckoning you to align with it. In every moment, with every breath, you have the opportunity to answer this call, to align yourself with the parallel you, to step into the full power of your divine nature, to assume the state of consciousness that matches your deepest desires. My dear friends, the choice is yours. The power is yours. The parallel you is not some distant ideal, but a living reality within you waiting to be expressed. Will you answer the call? Will you accept the invitation to live from the state of your wish fulfilled? Will you dare to be the God of your universe? Remember, the outer world may not immediately reflect your inner change. There may be moments of doubt, times when circumstances seem to contradict your new assumptions. In these moments, hold fast to your faith. Trust in the law of consciousness. Know that as you persist in your new state, your outer world must conform. The parallel has mastered this art of unwavering faith and invites you to do the same. They want you to know that every challenge is an opportunity, every setback a chance to deepen your understanding and strengthen your resolve. As you embark on this journey of conscious creation, be patient with yourself. Be gentle but persistent. Celebrate every success, no matter how small. Learn from every experience, knowing that even apparent failures are stepping stones to greater understanding. And above all, my dear friends, enjoy the journey. Revel in the joy of conscious creation. Delight in the unfolding of your infinite potential. For this is not a burden, but the greatest gift you can give yourself and the world. The parallel you lives in this state of joyous creation and invites you to join them, to step into the full power of your divine nature, to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to be the conscious creator of your reality. For in doing so, you not only transform your own life, but you contribute to the elevation of all of existence. You become a living testament to the infinite potential within each of us. You become the change you wish to see in the world. My dear friends, the time for hesitation is over. The time for doubt is past. Now is the moment to embrace your divine nature, to step into your power as the conscious creator of your reality. The parallel is not a distant ideal, but a living potential within you, waiting to be expressed. Will you answer the call? Will you accept the invitation to live from the state of your wish fulfilled? Will you dare to be the God of your universe? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The parallel you is you, in your highest expression, beckoning you to align with your true nature. Embrace this truth, live from this understanding, and watch as your world transforms in ways you never thought possible. Remember, my friends, you are not bound by your past, by your circumstances, or by the opinions of others. You are bound only by your assumptions about yourself and your world. Change these assumptions, and you change your reality. The parallel you has done this and invites you to do the same. They want you to know that this power is not something to be earned or achieved, but to be remembered and claimed. It is your birthright as a divine being having a human experience. As we conclude this message, I urge you to take a moment to reflect. Feel the truth of these words resonating within you. Allow yourself to expand into the knowing of your divine nature. Feel the limitless potential that resides within you. Now, my dear friends, go forth and create. Go forth and assume the state of your wish fulfilled. Go forth and be the God of your universe. For in doing so, you not only transform your own life, but you contribute to the elevation of all of existence. The parallel you is waiting, not in some distant realm, but within you here and now. Will you answer the call? Will you step into the full power of your divine nature? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The time is now. Remember, you are the operant power in your world. You are the author of your life story. You are the conscious creator of your reality. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding and watch as miracles unfold in your life. Go now and be the parallel you. Be the highest expression of your divine nature. Be the conscious creator of your magnificent reality. For in doing so, you fulfill your highest purpose and contribute to the awakening of all of humanity. The parallel you has spoken. The message has been delivered. The invitation has been extended. The choice, as always, is yours. Choose wisely, choose consciously, choose lovingly. For as you choose, so shall your world be. And with that, my dear friends, I bid you farewell. But remember, this is not an ending, but a beginning. A beginning of a new way of being, a new way of creating, a new way of living. Embrace it fully, live it joyously, and watch as your world transforms in miraculous ways. The parallel you awaits. The power is yours. The time is now. Go forth and create the life of your dreams, for in doing so you fulfill your divine purpose and contribute to the elevation of all of existence. The universe is not outside of you. What you see out there, what you experience in your world, is nothing more than the outpicturing of your own consciousness. Everything that exists in your world was first born in your imagination. Now let me share a story from my own experience. Several years ago, when I was living in New York, I found myself in what the world would call a difficult situation. Bills were mounting, opportunities seemed scarce, and the external world appeared hostile. But I knew then, as I know now, that what I was experiencing was simply the harvest of my previous mental activity. You see, my dear friends, the secret lies not in fighting against these circumstances, but in completely relaxing into the awareness of who you really are. And who are you? You are God Himself, individualized. You are the operant power of the universe, expressing itself as you. Let us dive deeper into this magnificent truth. When I speak of relaxation, I am not merely talking about physical relaxation, though that is important. I am speaking of a profound mental and spiritual relaxation, a complete surrender to your divine nature. The first principle you must understand is this. Your consciousness, your I amness is God. When you say I am, you are proclaiming the name of God. This is not a metaphor, my dear friends. This is the absolute truth of your being. Now, how does one truly relax and trust the universe? It begins with understanding that what you seek is already yours in the invisible realm of imagination. Whatever you desire, be it wealth, love, health, or success, already exists in what I call the fourth dimension, the dimension of imagination. Let me share with you a technique I have used countless times. I call it the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Before you go to sleep at night, assume the feeling that would be yours if your desire were already realized. Feel the naturalness of having what you want. Feel the relief, the satisfaction, the joy that would be yours. For instance, if you desire financial abundance, do not focus on the lack of money in your current experience. Instead, feel the feeling of financial security. Feel how you would feel if your bank account were overflowing. Feel the satisfaction of paying your bills with ease. Feel the joy of helping others with your abundance. The secret, my dear friends, is to persist in this feeling until it becomes your predominant state. Remember, your outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. This is law. Let me tell you about a lady who attended one of my lectures in Los Angeles. She was struggling with chronic anxiety about her future. She constantly worried about everything that could go wrong. I told her, my dear, you are creating your future with these very worries. Instead, why not imagine lovingly? Why not assume that all is well? I instructed her to spend her evenings just before sleep, feeling the peace and security she desired. I told her to feel it so naturally that it would be impossible to believe otherwise. Within weeks, her entire world transformed. Her anxiety dissolved, opportunities appeared seemingly out of nowhere, and life began to flow effortlessly. You see, when you truly relax and trust, you are acknowledging your own divinity. You are recognizing that the power that created the universe is not separate from you, it is you. Now let me share with you the deeper aspects of trust. Trust is not about believing in an external power. True trust is the absolute conviction that your imagination creates reality. When you imagine something, you are literally creating it on a spiritual level. Your only task then is to remain faithful to your imaginal act. Consider this every morning when you wake up. You trust that the sun will rise. You don't worry about it. You don't try to make it happen. You simply know it will. This is the kind of trust I'm talking about. An absolute knowing that what you have imagined must materialize in your physical world. Let me give you a spiritual exercise that I have found immensely powerful. I call it the Sabbath. Choose a time each day when you can be completely alone and undisturbed. Close your eyes and mentally declare, "Be still and know that I am God." Feel the truth of these words. Feel the power and presence of your own wonderful human imagination. Then, bring to mind your desire, whatever it may be. But here's the crucial part. Don't think of it as something to be achieved in the future. Instead, feel that you already have it. Feel the gratitude, the joy, the completion. Then, rest in this feeling. This is what it means to enter the Sabbath, to rest in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Remember, my dear friends, the universe, which is your own wonderful human imagination, operates by law. Just as a seed planted in fertile soil must grow, so must your imaginal acts bear fruit in your physical world. But you must give your seed time to grow. This is where trust becomes essential. After you have planted your seed, after you have assumed the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you must trust the law. Don't dig up your seed to see if it's growing. Trust that the law is working, even when you can't see the evidence with your physical eyes. Let me share another personal experience. Years ago, I desired to become a successful lecturer, sharing these truths with others. Instead of struggling and striving, I would lie in my bed at night and imagine hearing the applause of an audience. I would feel the joy of sharing these principles. I would feel the gratitude of those who understood and applied these truths. I did this night after night, feeling it to be real, feeling it to be natural. I didn't question how it would happen. I didn't worry about the steps needed to make it happen. I simply lived in the end, enjoying the feeling of it being done. And here I stand before you tonight, living proof that the law works. The secret was in completely relaxing into the consciousness of the wish fulfilled and trusting that the law must operate according to my assumption. Now let me address something that many struggle with, the appearance of circumstances that seem to contradict your desire. Remember this, what you see in the outer world is only the shadow of past thoughts and assumptions. It has no power to prevent your new assumption from materializing. When doubts arise, and they will, simply return to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Don't fight the doubts. Don't struggle against them. Simply turn your attention back to the feeling of having what you desire. This is what it means to trust. Think of it this way: when you go to the theater to watch a play, you see various scenes unfold on the stage. Some may be tragic, some may be comic. But you remain relaxed in your seat because you know it's just a play. In the same way, learn to watch the scenes of your life unfold with the same detachment, knowing that your imagination is the author and finisher of your story. The key to relaxation and trust lies in this profound understanding. There is nothing to change but your assumptions about yourself and your world. When you change your assumptions, when you change what you believe to be true about yourself and your world, the outer picture must change to conform to your new assumption. Let me give you a practical technique for maintaining this relaxed state of trust. Throughout your day, whenever you notice yourself becoming tense or worried, pause and ask yourself, what am I imagining right now? You'll find that your tension and worry are always connected to negative imagining. Then, consciously choose to imagine something better. Remember, you are not trying to change the outer world directly. You are changing your inner assumption, and the outer world must follow. This, my dear friends, is the secret of relaxation and trust. It's not about making things happen. It's about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled and allowing the law to operate in its own perfect way and time. Before we conclude tonight's lecture, let me remind you of these essential truths. You are God individualized as you. Your imagination creates reality. What you assume to be true will harden into fact. The outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. Relaxation and trust are natural when you understand these truths. Go forth tonight and test this law. Choose something you desire to experience. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feel the naturalness of having what you want. Then relax and trust that what you have assumed must manifest. Let me share with you another personal experience that illustrates this principle beautifully. Many years ago, when I was in Barbados, I met a man who was constantly worried about his business. He would come to me day after day, his face lined with concern, telling me about all the things that could go wrong. I said to him, "My friend, do you know what you are doing? You are imagining the very things you fear, and therefore bringing them into your experience." I taught him what I'm teaching you tonight, that relaxation comes from the complete acceptance of your own wonderful human imagination as God. I told him, instead of imagining failure, why not imagine success? Instead of feeling tension about your business, why not feel the satisfaction of a thriving enterprise? You see, my dear wonderful friends, the secret lies in this. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of creation. When you trust your imagination completely, when you relax into the consciousness of your desire fulfilled, you are exercising your divine creative power. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. Yet Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. This is not merely a poetic passage from Scripture. It is a profound spiritual truth. The lily doesn't struggle to become a lily. It doesn't strive or worry. It simply unfolds according to its nature. You too must learn to unfold naturally into your desires. This is what true relaxation means. It means knowing with absolute conviction that what you have assumed in your imagination must objectify itself in your world. Let me give you another technique that I have found particularly powerful. I call it the state akin to sleep. Find a comfortable place where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and allow your body to relax completely. Now, in this state of physical relaxation, begin to feel yourself into the scene that would imply your desire is already fulfilled. For instance, if you desire a loving relationship, feel yourself being embraced by your perfect partner. Feel the warmth of their love. Feel the joy of sharing your life with someone who adores you. Make it real in your imagination. Feel it until it feels natural. Remember, my dear friends, you are not trying to make something happen in the future. You are acknowledging what is already true in the eternal now of imagination. This is why trust is so essential. You must trust that what you have imagined is already done. Let me share with you a letter received from a lady in San Francisco. She had been struggling with chronic illness for years. After attending my lectures, she began to apply this principle of relaxation and trust. Instead of fighting against her condition, she would spend time each day feeling the naturalness of perfect health. She wrote to me, "Neville, I finally understand what you mean by living in the end. I no longer pray for health. I live from the assumption of being healthy. I no longer beg God for healing. I accept that I am already whole and perfect in my imagination." Within months, her health transformed completely. The doctors were amazed, but she understood the law at work. You see, my dear friends, this is the pattern shown on the mount. This is how creation works. Now, let me address something that many of you struggle with, the time gap between your imaginal act and its physical manifestation. Remember this. Time is not a factor in the fulfillment of your desire. The only time that matters is how long it takes you to feel natural in the state of your wish fulfilled. When you truly relax and trust, you don't concern yourself with when or how. You simply live in the end, knowing that the bridge of incidents will form itself. Your only responsibility is to remain faithful to your imaginal act. Think about this. When you plant a seed in the ground, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust the laws of nature to bring forth your harvest. The same principle applies to your imaginal acts. Once you have planted the seed in your imagination, trust that it must grow. Let me share another technique I call revision. At the end of each day, before you sleep, review the events that didn't go as you would have liked. In your imagination, revise them. See them happening the way you would have preferred. Feel the satisfaction of these revised events. This practice accomplishes two things. First, it prevents unwanted seeds from taking root in your consciousness. Second, it strengthens your ability to consciously create your reality. Remember, my dear friends, the universe is infinitely responsive to your consciousness. It must be, for the universe is nothing more than your own wonderful human imagination pushed out. When you truly understand this, relaxation and trust become your natural state. I want to share with you a profound truth that many miss. The state of relaxation and trust is not something you achieve, it is something you allow. It is your natural state when you recognize your true identity as God individualized. Consider this: does God worry about how things will work out? Does God struggle to make things happen? Of course not. God simply speaks the word, knowing it must be fulfilled. And you, being God individualized, have the same creative power. Let me give you another exercise to deepen your understanding of this truth. Throughout your day, whenever you say "I am," pause and remember that you are speaking the name of God. Feel the power of this awareness. Feel the absoluteness of it. When you say "I am wealthy," you are not making a statement about your current bank balance. You are declaring the truth about your being in the realm of imagination, which is the only reality. My dear friends, the secret of relaxation and trust lies in this complete acceptance of your own divine nature. When you truly know that you are the operant power, all anxiety falls away naturally. Think of it this way: the sun doesn't worry about whether it will shine tomorrow. It simply shines because that is its nature. In the same way, when you accept your divine nature, creation becomes effortless. You create because that is your nature. Let me share one more personal experience. Years ago, when I desired to travel and lecture across the country, I didn't worry about how it would happen. I didn't make endless plans and strategies. Instead, I would lie in my bed at night and feel the satisfaction of speaking to packed auditoriums. I would feel the joy of sharing these truths with eager listeners. I remained faithful to this imaginal act, trusting that the law must work. And here I stand before you tonight, living proof that what you imagine with feeling must objectify itself in your world. Remember this: the outer world is a shadow, a reflection of your inner assumptions. When you change your assumptions, when you change what you believe to be true, the outer world must change to reflect your new consciousness. This is why relaxation is so crucial. When you truly relax, you stop trying to make things happen in the outer world. Instead, you focus on maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled in your imagination, knowing that the outer world must conform to your inner assumption. Trust, my dear friends, is not about believing in an external power. Trust is the absolute knowing that your imagination creates reality. It is the conviction that what you have assumed in your imagination must manifest in your physical world. As we conclude tonight's lecture, I want you to take this truth home with you. You are not a helpless being at the mercy of external circumstances. You are God Himself individualized as you, with all the creative power that implies. Tonight, when you return to your homes, choose something you desire to experience. It can be something small or something significant. Then, as you prepare for sleep, assume the feeling that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. Fall asleep in this consciousness. Trust that while you sleep, the law is working to bring about the circumstances necessary for the fulfillment of your desire. For remember, man's eyes are blind to the reality of a thing until imagination has brought it into focus. Go now in peace, knowing that you are the author of your own story. Relax into your divine nature and trust in the perfect operation of the law, for this is the truth that sets you free. Remember, the world is yourself pushed out. Therefore, relax completely into the consciousness of your wish fulfilled and watch as your world transforms to match your inner assumption. Thank you and good night. I want you to listen carefully, for the words I speak are not my own, but rather the echoes of an eternal truth that has been whispered throughout the ages. This truth, my dear friends, is that your imagination is the very gateway to the reality you experience. It is the God-given power within you, the creative force that shapes your world. When I say believe you can, and you are halfway there, I am not speaking of a mere mental exercise or a fleeting moment of positive thinking. No, I am referring to a state of consciousness, a profound inner knowing that transcends all doubt and limitation. This belief, this unwavering faith in your desired outcome, is the very substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen in the physical realm. Consider for a moment the implications of this statement. If belief alone can propel you halfway towards your goal, then it stands to reason that the remaining distance is but a matter of allowing that belief to fully manifest in your experience. This is the essence of what I have long taught, that your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner assumptions and beliefs. Let us delve deeper into this concept. When you truly believe you can achieve something, you have already created it in the realm of imagination. And make no mistake, the imagination is not some fanciful playground of idle thoughts. It is the very workshop of creation. It is in this inner world that all things find their origin before they are made manifest in the physical realm. Now, some of you may be thinking, but never have believed in things before, and they did not come to pass. To this I say, examine the nature of your belief. Was it a fleeting hope, a mere wish tossed into the universe, like a penny into a wishing well? Or was it an unshakable knowing, a conviction so strong that you lived from the joy, experiencing the joy and satisfaction of your desire fulfilled even before its physical manifestation? You see, my dear friends, the power of belief lies not in its density, but in its consistency and the feeling it evokes within you. When you truly believe you can accomplish something, you begin to embody the state of the wish fulfillment. You walk, talk, and breathe as though your desire has already been realized. This is not pretense or self-deception. It is the highest form of faith, the kind that moves mountains and parts seas. Let me illustrate this with a simple example. Imagine you desire a new job, one that fills you with purpose and provides outlets. The conventional approach would be to search for openings, send out applications, and hope for the best. But this is not the way of the awakened imagination. Instead, I urge you to assume the feeling of already having this ideal job. As you lay in your bed at night, feel the satisfaction of a day well spent in your new position. Experience the joy of making a difference through your work. Feel the gratitude for the abundant compensation you receive. Live in this state night after night until it becomes your dominant feeling, your new reality. What you are doing in this exercise is far more powerful than any action you could take in the outer world. You are impressing upon your subconscious mind, the faithful servant that brings your assumptions to life, that the reality of your wish fulfilled, and your subconscious being intimately connected with the infinite intelligence that governs the universe will set in motion a series of events to bring about the physical manifestation of your imaginal act. This, my friends, is the true meaning of believe you can, and you are halfway there. Your belief, when it reaches the level of absolute conviction, creates a bridge between your present circumstances and your desired state. It sets the stage for the miracle of manifestation to occur. But let me be clear, this is not about forcing changes in the outer world through sheer willpower. It is about changing your concept of self, your inner conversation, and your dominant feeling state. When you do this, the outer world has no choice but to conform to your new self-concept, for the outer is always a reflection of the inner. Now, some of you may be wondering, but what about action? Surely we must do something to achieve our goals. And to this I say, inspired action will naturally flow from your changed state of consciousness. When you truly believe in the reality of desire, you will find yourself moved to take steps that align with that reality. These actions will not feel like hard work or struggle, but rather like an effortless unfolding of events leading you to your desired end. Remember, the outer world is plastic and receptive to your inner assumptions. It is constantly being shaped and reshaped by the contents of your consciousness. Therefore, the most important work you can do is not in the outer world, but in the inner world of your imagination and beliefs. Let us pause for a moment and reflect on this profound truth. Close your eyes, if you will, and contemplate the goal that burns brightest in your heart. Perhaps it's a loving relationship, financial abundance, perfect health, or a fulfilling career. Whatever it may be, I want you to imagine, just for a moment, that you have already achieved this goal. Feel the emotions that would accompany this achievement. Experience the joy, the satisfaction, the peace that comes with the realization of your desire. As you sit there, embodying the feeling of your wish fulfilled, know that you are engaging in the highest form of creative prayer. You are declaring to the universe, this is who I am. This is my reality. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom and perfect law, must respond to this declaration. Now open your eyes and carry this feeling with you. Let it infuse your thoughts, your words, and your actions. For in doing so, you are living from the end. And this is the secret to bringing your desires into manifestation. But I caution you, do not be discouraged if you do not see immediate results in the outer world. Remember, you are dealing with the invisible realm of causes, not the visible world of effects. Your task is to remain faithful to your imaginal act, to persist in the assumption that what you desire is already yours. This persistence, this unwavering faith in the face of contrary evidence, is what separates those who master the art of conscious creation from those who remain at the mercy of circumstance. It is easy to believe when all outer conditions support your belief. But it is in those moments when your senses deny your assumption that your faith is truly tested and strengthened. In the Bible, we find a perfect illustration of this principle in the story of Joshua and the walls of Jericho. For 6 days, Joshua and his army marched around the fortified city, blowing their trumpets, but seeing no change in the impenetrable walls. It would have been easy to doubt, to question the sanity of their actions. But they persisted in their faith. And on the 7th day, the walls came tumbling down. This, my dear friends, is the power of persistent assumption. The walls in your life, whether they be financial limitations, health challenges, or relationship obstacles, are no more real or permanent than the walls of Jericho. They are simply projections of your past assumptions and beliefs. And just as Joshua's persistent faith brought down physical walls, your unwavering belief in your desired state will cause the walls in your life to crumble and fall. But remember, it is not the physical act of marching or blowing trumpets that brings down the walls. It is the inner conviction, the absolute faith that the walls must fall because God has decreed it so. And who is this God that decrees such things? It is his own wonderful human imagination, the divine spark within you, that has the power to shape reality itself. Now let us address a common misconception. Many believe that to achieve their goals, they must wrestle with current circumstances, fight against what is, and struggle mightily to effect change. But I tell you, this approach is not only exhausting, but also counterproductive. For in fighting against your current reality, you are giving power, acknowledging its permanence, and thus perpetuating its existence. Instead, I urge you to adopt a different approach. Rather than fighting against what is, simply assume that what you desire to be is already a fact. Live from that assumption and watch as your outer world begins to shift and change to match your inner conviction. This, my friends, is the true meaning of the phrase, the battle is not yours, but God's. The battle is not fought in the outer world of effects, but in the inner world of causes. Your task is not to make things happen, but to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and allow the infinite intelligence within you to bring about its manifestation in ways that you may not even be able to imagine. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates this principle. Many years ago, I found myself in dire financial straits. Bills were piling up and opportunities seemed scarce. The temptation to worry and struggle was great. But instead of succumbing to anxiety and frantic action, I chose to apply the principle I am sharing with you today. Each night as I lay in my bed, I assumed the feeling of financial abundance. I felt the joy of paying my bills with ease. I experienced the satisfaction of helping others from my overflow. I lived in my imagination as a man of wealth and generosity. I persisted in this assumption, night after night, regardless of the seeming lack in my outer world. And then, my friends, the miracle unfolded. Within a matter of weeks, opportunities began to present themselves. A forgotten debt was repaid. An unexpected speaking engagement came my way. My financial situation transformed so rapidly and dramatically that those around me were astounded. But I knew the source of this transformation. It was not luck or chance, but the natural result of my changed consciousness. This experience taught me a valuable lesson that our outer world is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of our inner assumptions. Change the assumption, and the shadow must change. This is the law as exact and unfailing as any law in physics. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, surely it can't be that simple. There must be more to it than just believing. And to this I say, yes, it is that simple. And no, there is nothing more to it. But simple does not mean easy. The challenge lies not in the complexity of the process, but in your ability to persist in your assumption in the face of contradictory evidence. You see, when you first begin to apply this principle, your senses will rebel. They will shout at you, presenting evidence that seems to contradict your new assumption. This is the moment when many falter, when they abandon their imaginal act and return to their old patterns of thought and belief. But I urge you, my dear friends, to stand firm in these moments. Remember that your senses can only show you the effects of past beliefs and assumptions. They cannot peer into the invisible realm of causes where your new assumption is taking root and beginning to grow. Think of it like planting a seed in the ground. Once you've planted the seed, you don't dig it up every day to check on its progress. You trust in the invisible processes of nature to nurture that seed and bring it to fruition. In the same way, once you've planted the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your imagination, trust in the invisible processes of creation to bring it to manifestation. This trust, this unwavering faith, is what Jesus referred to when he said, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Notice the tense used here, believe that you have received it, not that you will receive it. This is the secret of living from the end, of experiencing the reality of your desire in your imagination before it manifests in the physical world. Now let's delve deeper into the practical application of this principle. How do you cultivate this level of belief, this unwavering faith in your desired outcome? The key lies in your ability to create and sustain a particular feeling state. You see, my friends, your subconscious mind does not understand words in the way your conscious mind does. It responds to feelings, to emotions, to the sensory vividness of your imaginal acts. Therefore, to impress your desire upon your subconscious, you must feel the reality of it with all the intensity you can muster. Let's say, for example, that you desire a loving, harmonious relationship. It's not enough to simply repeat affirmations or visualize scenes of togetherness. You must feel the love, the warmth, the deep connection as though it were already a reality in your life. As you lie in your bed at night, feel the presence of your beloved beside you. Experience the comfort of their embrace, the sound of their loving words, the joy of shared laughter. Make this imaginal act so real, so vivid, that when you open your eyes, you're almost surprised to find yourself alone. This is the level of sensory vividness, of emotional intensity, that impresses your desire upon your subconscious mind and sets the wheels of manifestation in motion. But remember, this is not a one-time exercise. You must return to this state night after night, regardless of what your outer circumstances may be showing you. For it is your persistence, your ability to maintain your assumption in the face of contrary evidence that demonstrates your faith and brings your desire into manifestation. Now, some of you may be wondering, but what if I can't sustain this feeling? What if doubts creep in? My dear friends, doubts are natural. They are the protest of your senses the habits of your old consciousness asserting themselves. Do not fight these doubts, for in fighting them, you give them power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your center. Redirect your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Think of it like training a puppy. When the puppy wanders off, you don't scold it or become frustrated. You simply gently bring it back to where you want it to be. In the same way, when your mind wanders into doubt or negative thinking, gently but firmly bring it back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This practice, this constant returning to the state of your wish fulfilled, is what is meant a biblical injunction to pray without ceasing. It doesn't mean to constantly repeat words or petitions, but to maintain a state of consciousness, a feeling state that aligns with your desire. As you practice this, you will find that it becomes easier and more natural. What once required effort will become your default state. You will begin to live from the assumption of your wish fulfilled, and as you do, you will witness the miraculous unfolding of events in your outer world to match your inner conviction. But I caution you, do not become attached to the way in which your desire manifests. Your role is to assume the state of the wish fulfilled. It is not to dictate the means by which it comes about. The infinite intelligence that responds to your assumption knows far better than your conscious mind how to bring your desire into manifestation. Trust in this intelligence. Allow it to work on your behalf. Your job is simply to maintain your assumption, to live from the end, and to be open and receptive to the opportunities and circumstances that will inevitably arise to bridge the gap between your current reality and your desired state. Now let's address another important aspect of this principle. When I say believe you can and you are halfway there, I'm not suggesting that you should believe in your ability to make something happen. Rather, I'm urging you to believe in the present reality of your desire. You see, there's a subtle but crucial difference here. When you believe in your ability to achieve something, you are still placing your desire in the future, still seeing it as something to be attained. But when you believe in the present reality of your desire, you are acknowledging it as an already existing fact, simply awaiting your recognition and acceptance. This shift in perspective is powerful. It moves you from a state of wanting or needing to a state of having and being. And it is from this state of having and being that true creation occurs. Consider the biblical story of creation. God did not say, "Let there be light, and I hope it will come to pass." No, the declaration was clear and absolute: "Let there be light," and light was. This is the model of creation we are called to emulate. We are to declare the reality of our desire with the same absolute certainty, the same unwavering conviction. When you do this, when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled with complete faith, you are exercising your divine creative power. You are aligning yourself with the very force that created the universe. And that same force will move heaven and earth to bring your assumption into physical manifestation. But remember, my dear friends, with great power comes great responsibility. As you begin to grasp the magnitude of this creative principle, you must also cultivate wisdom and discernment in its use. For just as you can create experiences of joy, abundance, and fulfillment, you can also, through misuse of this power, create experiences of lack, limitation, and suffering. Therefore, I urge you to be mindful of your thoughts, your inner conversations, and most importantly, your habitual feeling states. For these are the seeds from which your future experiences will grow. Plant wisely. Tend to your mental garden with care, and you will reap a harvest beyond your wildest dreams. Now let us return to our central theme, believe you can and you are halfway there. As we've explored, this belief is not a mere intellectual assent to a possibility. It is a profound, unshakable knowing, a state of consciousness that aligns you with the creative power of the universe. When you truly believe, when you live from the assumption of yours fulfilled, you set in motion forces beyond your comprehension. You activate a law as certain as gravity, a principle as reliable as the rising and setting of the sun. This law, this principle is that consciousness is the only reality. And what you assume as truly your consciousness must inevitably express itself in your outer world. But here's the crucial point that many miss. The power lies not in the belief itself, but in the feeling that the belief engenders. Your subconscious mind, the faithful servant that brings your assumptions to life, responds not to words or mental images alone, but being associated with those words and images. This is why it's so important to make your imaginal acts as vivid and emotionally life-charged as possible. When you imagine your desire fulfilled, feel the joy, the gratitude, the sense of accomplishment that would accompany its realization. Let these feelings permeate your entire being, for it is these feelings that impress your desire upon your subconscious and set the wheels of manifestation in motion. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, I've tried this before, and it didn't work. To this, I say, examine the nature of your attempt. Did you truly live from the end, consistently maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled? Or did you merely engage in periodic visualization or affirmation, all the while holding on to your old beliefs and assumptions? You see, my friends, this principle is not a technique to be applied sporadically. It is a way of life, a fundamental shift in how you relate to reality itself. It requires persistence, patience, and above all, faith. Not blind faith in some external power, but faith in the creative power of your own consciousness. Let me share with you another personal experience that illustrates this point. Many years ago, I found myself in New York, broke and unemployed, longing to return to my home in Barbados. But I had no money for passage, and my family, struggling themselves, could not help me. Instead of succumbing to despair, I applied the principle we're discussing today. Each night as I lay in my bed, I assumed the feeling of being in Barbados. I felt the tropical breeze on my skin, heard the familiar sounds of my homeland, experienced the joy of reuniting with my family. I lived in my imagination as though I were already there. I persisted in this assumption night after night, regardless of my outer circumstances. And then, my friend, the miracle unfolded. Within a matter of weeks, I received a letter from my brother containing the exact amount of money I needed for my passage home. The circumstances that led to this were so unlikely, so unexpected, that to the outside observer, it would have seemed like pure chance or coincidence. But I knew better. I knew that this was the natural, inevitable result of my changed consciousness. By assuming the feeling of my wish fulfilled, I had set in motion a series of events that led to its physical manifestation. This experience taught me a valuable lesson that our outer world is infinitely more malleable, more responsive to our inner state than we have been led to believe. It showed me that when we change our concept of self, when we assume a new state of consciousness, the entire universe conspires to reflect back to us that new self-concept. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when I share these teachings. Many ask, but what about other people? Surely we can't control their actions or decisions. And to this I say, you are not seeking to control others. You are aligning yourself with a state of consciousness in which your desire is already fulfilled. And in doing so, you will find that people and circumstances naturally arrange themselves to match your assumption. You see, other people in your life are not separate from you in the way you might think. In a very real sense, they are playing roles in the drama of your consciousness. As you shift your consciousness, as you assume a new state of being, you will find that others naturally respond in ways that support your new assumption. This is not manipulation or control. It is simply the outworking of a universal law, that your outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. As you change your concept of self, as you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find that the entire world reshapes itself to match your new self-concept. But remember, this principle is not about imposing your will on others or the world around you. It's about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, about allowing your desires to manifest in harmony with the highest good of all concerned. When you operate from this level of consciousness, you'll find that your manifestations unfold in ways that are often far more wonderful than you could have imagined or planned. Now let us delve even deeper into the practical application of this principle. How do you maintain your assumption, your belief, in the face of contrary evidence? How do you persist when your senses scream that what you're assuming isn't true? The key, my dear friends, lies in understanding the nature of time. You see, time as we experience it in the physical world is an illusion. In the realm of consciousness, in the world of imagination, all possibilities exist simultaneously. The state you desire to experience is not something in the future. It exists now in this eternal present moment. Your task is simply to shift your consciousness to align with that state. Think of it like tuning a radio. All stations are broadcasting simultaneously, but you can only hear the one to which your radio is tuned. In the same way, all possible states of being are available to you right now. By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are tuning your consciousness to the frequency of desire. But here's the crucial point: you must stay tuned to that frequency. You must persist in your assumption, regardless of what your senses or your current circumstances are telling you. This persistence, this unwavering faith is what bridges the gap between your current reality and your desired state. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this sounds like self-deception. Aren't we just fooling ourselves? To this I say, what you call self-deception is actually the highest form of truth. For in assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are isling yourself a reality that already exists in the realm of infinite possibilities. Remember, your current reality is nothing more than the outpicturing of your past assumptions and beliefs. It has no more permanence or reality than the state you desire to experience. The only difference is that you have in your giving the power of your belief far beyond upon infinity. But the moment you shift your belief, the moment you begin to live from the assumption of your wish fulfilled, you set in motion a new sequence of events. You activate a new pattern of manifestation. And if you persist in this new assumption, it must inevitably express itself in your outer world. This, my friends, is the true meaning of faith. It is not blind belief in something unseen. It is the evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for. When you have true faith, when you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you are not hoping for something to happen in the future. You are acknowledging a reality that already exists and allowing it to express itself in your experience. Now let me address another common concern. Many ask, what if my desire does manifest immediately? What if I don't see results right away? To this I say, patience, my dear friends. Remember, you are dealing with the invisible realm of causes, not the visible world of effects. When a farmer plants a seed, he doesn't dig it up every day to check on its progress. He trusts in the invisible processes of nature to nurture that seed and bring it to fruition. In the same way, once you've planted the seed of your desire in the fire of soil imagination, trust in the invisible processes of creation to bring it to manifestation. Your outer world may not change overnight, but I assure you, the moment you assume a new state of consciousness, things begin to shift. Opportunities arise, circumstances align, people enter your life, all in service of bringing your assumption into physical reality. Your task is simply to persist in your assumption, to maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, regardless of appearances, for it is your persistence that demonstrates your faith, and it is your faith that moves mountains. Let me share with you one final thought on this subject. The phrase, believe you can and you are halfway there, implies a journey, a process of becoming. But I want you to understand that in the realm of imagination, in the world of consciousness, there is no journey. There is only being. When you truly believe, when you fully assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you are not halfway there. You are already there. The outer manifestation of your desire is simply the shadow catching up to the substance of your belief. This understanding liberates you from anxiety, from the constant striving and struggling that characterizes so much of human existence. It allows you to rest in the assurance that what you desire is already yours. already a fact in the realm of consciousness, simply awaiting your recognition and acceptance. So, my dear friends, as we conclude this discourse, I urge you to take these words to heart. Understand that you are not a helpless victim of circumstances, but a powerful creator, shaping your reality through the power of your assumptions and beliefs. Believe you can, yes, but more than that, believe you are. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Live from that assumption. Persist in that state of consciousness, regardless of appearances. And watch as the miracle of manifestation unfolds in your life. Remember, the world is yourself pushed out. What you see and experience is nothing more than the reflection of your own consciousness. Change your consciousness and you change your world. Go forth now armed with this knowledge, this understanding of your true creative power. Apply these principles in your life. Test them, prove them to yourself. For in doing so, you will discover the truth of who you really are. A divine being created in the image and likeness of God, with the power to shape your reality according to your highest ideals, thy deepest desires. Believe you can, and you are not just halfway there, you are already there, in the realm of pure potential, pure creativity. Your task now is simply to allow that inner reality to express itself in your outer world. Go in peace, go with power, go with the absolute assurance that what you desire is already yours. For in truth, it always has been. You need only to awaken to this reality and claim your divine inheritance. Thank you. And may your life be a living testimony to the creative power that resides within you. Let us begin with a fundamental principle. The world you see around you is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. Every circumstance, every person, every event in your life is a mirror showing you the contents of your own consciousness. This may seem daunting at first, but I assure you it is the most liberating realization you can have. For if the world is a reflection of your inner state, then to change your world, you need only change your inner state. And how do you change your inner state? By relaxing and letting go of your old beliefs, your old patterns of thought, and embracing the new. Imagine for a moment that you are an actor on a stage. The role you have been playing up until now has been assigned to you by society, by your upbringing, by the beliefs you have accumulated over the years. But now you have the power to step out of that role and choose a new one. You can be anyone you want to be, have anything you want to have, do anything you want to do. But here's the catch. You must first relax and let go of the old role. You must release your grip on the identity that no longer serves you. This is where many people stumble. They cling desperately to what they know, even if it makes them unhappy, because they fear the unknown. Yet, my friends, it is in the unknown that all possibility lies. It is in the void, the space of pure potential, that desires can take form. So I urge you, relax your grip on the known. Let go of your preconceptions about who you are and what you're capable of. For in that release, you create space for something new to enter. Now you might be thinking, but Neville, how can I let go when I want something so badly? How can I relax when my desire feels so urgent? And to this I say, your very wanting, your very striving, is what keeps your desire at bay. Consider for a moment the nature of wanting. When you want something, you are affirming its absence in your life. You are saying, I do not have this thing, and therefore I want it. But remember, the world is a reflection of your inner state. If you constantly affirm lack, you will experience lack. Instead, I invite you to adopt a new stance. Rather than wanting, choose knowing. Know that what you desire is already yours. Feel the reality of it now in this very moment. For in the realm of imagination, which is the true creative force in the universe, there is no distinction between what is real and what is imaginary. Let me share with you a principle that has transformed countless lives, the law of assumption. This law states that if you assume the feeling of yours fulfilled, if you live from the end as if your desire has already been realized, it must become your reality. But here's the crucial point. You must relax into this assumption. You must let go of any anxiety, any doubt, any need to make it happen. For in trying to force your desire into being, you are actually pushing it away. Think of it like this. Have you ever tried to remember to name a name? Or in fact, the harder you try, the more elusive it became. And then when you relaxed and let it go, it suddenly popped into your mind. This is the same principle at work in the manifestation of your desires. When you relax and let go, you allow the infinite intelligence of the universe to work on your behalf. You open yourself to inspiration, to synchronicities, to opportunities that you could never have planned or forced into being. So how do we put this into practice? How do we relax and let go while still maintaining the assumption of our desire fulfilled? The answer lies in your imagination. Every night, as you drift off to sleep, create a scene in your mind that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you can. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of having what you want. And then let it go. Release it into the universe, knowing that it is done. During your waking hours, whenever thoughts of lack or doubt creep in, gently redirect your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Don't fight the negative thoughts. That only gives them more power. Instead, relax and shift your focus to the reality you wish to experience. Remember, my friends, relaxation is not passivity. It is not giving up or resigning your circumstances. Rather, it is a state of alert receptivity. It is being open to the infinite possibilities that exist in every moment. When you are relaxed, you are in harmony with the creative forces of the universe. You are allowing life to flow through you, rather than trying to force life to conform to your will. And in this state of relaxed allowance, miracles can happen. Let me share with you a story that illustrates this principle. There was once a man who desperately wanted a promotion at work. He had been passed over several times, and with each rejection, his desire grew more intense, more desperate. He would lie awake at night, strategizing and worrying, trying to figure out how to make it happen. One day, he came across the principle we're discussing tonight. He decided to try it. Instead of striving and pushing, he relaxed. He imagined himself already in the new position, feeling the satisfaction and confidence it brought. He let go of his anxiety and his need to control the outcome. To his amazement, within weeks, he was called into his boss's office. Not only was he offered the prince-seeking, but he was offered an even better position, one that hadn't even existed before. The company had created a new role that perfectly matched his skills and passions. This is the power of relaxing and letting go. When you release your grip on how things should unfold, you open yourself to possibilities beyond your current imagination. Now, I want to address a common misconception. Some people here relax and let go and think it means sitting back and doing nothing, waiting for their desires to magically appear. This is not what I'm advocating. Relaxation does not mean inaction. It means inspired action. When you are relaxed and aligned with your desire, you will be moved to take action. But it will not feel like effort or struggle. It will feel natural, joyful, even effortless. Think of a master musician playing their instrument. They are relaxed, in a state of flow, yet fingers move with precision and skill. They are not forcing the music, they are allowing it to flow through to them. This is how you want to approach the creation of your desires. Be relaxed, be in flow, and allow inspired action to move through you. Trust that the right actions will become clear to you at the right time. Another aspect of relaxing and letting go is releasing attachment to the outcome. This can be challenging, especially when we want something very badly. But attachment creates tension, and tension blocks the flow of our good. Instead of being attached to a specific outcome, be open to the possibility that something even better than what you've imagined could come to you. Trust in the wisdom of the universe to bring you what is truly best for you. This doesn't mean giving up on your desires. It means holding them lightly with an open hand rather than a clenched fist. It means being willing to be surprised and delighted by how your desires manifest. Remember, my friends, the universe is infinitely abundant. There is no lack, no limitation, except in our own minds. When we relax and let go of our limiting beliefs, we open ourselves to this abundance. Now let's delve deeper into the idea that it is already yours. This is a powerful concept that, when fully grasped, can transform your entire approach to the manifestation. In the physical world, we are accustomed to a linear progression of events. We want something, we work towards it, and eventually we achieve it. But in the realm of consciousness, which is the true source of all creation, time does not exist in the same way. In consciousness, all possibilities exist simultaneously. The version of you who has already achieved your desire exists now, just as surely as the version of you sitting here listening to these words. Your task is not to create your desire, it already exists. Your task is to align your consciousness with the version of reality where your desire is fulfilled. This is why I often say, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you do this, you are tuning your consciousness to the frequency of your desire. You are stepping into the reality where it is already yours. Think of it like this. Imagine you have a radio with infinite stations. Each station represents a different version of reality. Right now, you might be tuned to the station where your desire is still unfulfilled. But by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are turning the dial to the station where your desire is already a fact. The physical world may take some time to catch up with this new frequency. But make no mistake, the moment you truly assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it is done. The rest is just the playing out of events in the physical world. This is why it's so crucial to relax and let go. When you know that it's already yours, there's no need to strain or struggle. There's no need to manipulate external circumstances. Your only job is to maintain the consciousness of your transit field and allow the external world to reshape itself around your assumption. Let's explore this further with a practical example. Suppose you desire a loving, fulfilling relationship. Instead of focusing on the lack of this relationship in your current experience, you would assume the feeling of already being in this perfect relationship. How would you feel if you were already in this relationship? Perhaps you'd feel loved, secure, happy, and fulfilled. You'd go through your day with a sense of companionship, even when physically alone. You'd feel appreciated and valued. Your task then is to generate these feelings within yourself now, regardless of your current circumstances. As you do this, you are tuning yourself to the frequency of this relationship. You are stepping into the version of reality where this relationship already exists. This doesn't mean you pretend to be in a relationship when you're not. It means you embody the essence of what that relationship would bring you. You become the person who is already in that loving relationship. And here's the beautiful part. As you do this, you become magnetic to that very experience. The external world must reshape itself to match your inner state. This is the law of assumption at work. But remember, you must relax and let go of how and when this will manifest. Your job is not to make it happen, but to allow it to happen. Trust that the universe will bring this relationship to you in the perfect way and at the perfect time. This principle applies to every desire, whether it's for a new job, improved health, financial abundance, or any other aspiration. Whatever it is you want, it already exists in the realm of infinite possibilities. Your task is to let go of doubt and anxiety and step into the consciousness of already having it. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when discussing these principles. But Neville, what about action? Don't we need to do something to make our desires a reality? The answer is yes, action is often part of the process. But it's inspired action that comes from a place of knowing, not desperate action that comes from a place of lack. When you truly assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will be inspired to take actions that align with your desire. These actions will feel natural and effortless. You won't have to force yourself to do them. You'll be drawn to do them. For instance, if you're assuming the state of being your ideal career, you might find yourself naturally drawn to take a certain course, or to reach out to a particular person, or to apply for a specific job. These actions arise not from a place of lack or need, but from a place of alignment with your desire. The key is to take these inspired actions without attachment to the outcome. You do them because they feel right, not because you're trying to make something happen. This is the balance between action and letting go. Remember that station doesn't mean possibility. It means being in a state of relaxed readiness, open to guidance and inspiration. It means trusting that the right actions will become clear to you at the right time. Now let's address another common concern. But what if I relax and let go and nothing happens? This fear often keeps people stuck in a cycle of forcing and striving. The truth is, something is always happening, even if you can't see it yet. When you relax and let go while maintaining the assumption of your desire fulfilled, you set in motion forces beyond your conscious awareness. Think of planting a seed. Once you plant it and water it, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You trust in the natural process of growth. You know that beneath the surface, unseen to your eyes, the seed is germinating and roots are forming. This is how manifestation works. When you plant the seed of your desire in your subconscious mind through the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and then relax and let go, you are given the truth to germinate. You allow the unseen forces of the universe to work on your behalf. Your desire is making its way to you through channels you may not be aware of. People are being moved, circumstances are being arranged, opportunities are being created, all to bring your desire to fruition. Your job during this time is to maintain your faith. Keep living on the end, feeling the reality of your desire fulfilled. And most importantly, enjoy the journey. Find joy and gratitude in your present circumstances, knowing that they are transforming to match your new assumption. This brings us to another crucial point, the importance of living in the present moment. Many people make the mistake of putting their happiness on hold until their desire manifests. They think, I'll be happy when I get that job, or I feel content when I find my perfect partner. But this is a trap. Remember, your outer world reflects your inner state. If you're constantly projecting your happiness into the future, you're affirming that happiness is not here and now. And so it will always remain in the future, just out of reach. Instead, choose to be happy now. Choose to feel fulfilled now. This doesn't mean denying your desire of growth or change. It means finding the essence of what you're seeking, be it love, security, fulfillment, creativity, in your present circumstances. When you do this, you align yourself with the frequency of your desire. You become the person who already has what you want. And from this place of present fulfillment, you allow your external reality to shift and change. This is the true meaning of it's already yours. It's not just a future possibility. It's a future reality you can just step into now through the power of your assumption. Let's delve deeper into the art of letting go. For many, this is the most challenging aspect of manifestation. We're so accustomed to trying to control outcomes, to make things happen through sheer force of will. But true power lies in surrender. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on your desire. It means releasing your attachment to how and when it will manifest. It means trusting in the perfect unfolding of your good. Think of it like this: when you order something online, you don't spend every moment worrying about how it will get to you. You trust that it's on its way. You go about your life, knowing that at the right time your package will arrive. This is how you want to approach your desires. Once you've placed your order with the universe, by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, let it go. Trust that it's on its way to you. Go about your life, enjoying each moment, knowing that at the perfect time, your desire will manifest. Letting go also means releasing any need to control other people or manipulate circumstances. Remember, the entire universe is within you. The people and circumstances in your life are reflections of your consciousness. As you change your consciousness, they will naturally change to match it. This is incredibly liberating. It means you don't have to try to change anyone else. You don't have to struggle against circumstances. Your only task is to change your own consciousness to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and then relax and allow the outer world to conform to your new assumption. Now, I want to address a common pitfall that many fall into on this journey, the temptation to constantly check for results. This is like digging up a seed every day to see if it's growing. It stems from doubt and impatience, and it can actually hinder the manifestation of your desire. Instead of looking for proof in the external world, turn your attention inward. How do you feel? Are you maintaining the feeling of the wishful Zittel? Are you again? This is where your power lies. If you find yourself slipping into old patterns of thought or feeling, don't judge yourself. Simply redirect your attention back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is a practice, any practice. It becomes easier and more natural over time. Remember, my friends, you are not bound by your past or by your current circumstances. In any moment, you have the power to choose a new state of consciousness. And as you do, you literally step into a new reality. This is the miracle of your imagination. It is the portal through which you can access any reality you choose. When you imagine and feel yourself into a new state, you are actually experiencing that reality now. And as you persist in that new state, it must externalize in your world. Let me share with you another principle that can be immensely helpful on this journey, the law of reversibility. This law states that just as physical events can cause you to experience certain feelings, those feelings, when generated without the physical event, can cause the physical event to occur. For instance, if you received a large sum of money, you would likely feel a sense of financial security and abundance. But the law of reversibility says that if you generate and maintain those feelings of financial security and abundance without the physical event, you will draw that physical event into you. This is why it's so crucial to focus on the feeling of your wish fulfilled, rather than the specific circumstances you think will bring that feeling. The feeling is the secret. The feeling is what attracts the reality. So I invite you to become aware of the feelings you're cultivating throughout your day. Are they aligned with your desires, or are they reflecting lack and limitation? Remember, you have the power to choose your feelings in any moment. This brings us to another important point, the role of gratitude in manifestation. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrations you can embody. When you're grateful, you're affirming that you already have what you desire. You're living from the end. Make it a practice to find things to be grateful for each day, especially things that align with your desires. If you desire financial abundance, be grateful for every penny you have. If you desire a loving relationship, be grateful for the love you already have in your life, in whatever form it takes. As you cultivate gratitude, you align yourself with the frequency of abundance. You open yourself to receive more of what you're grateful for. This is the power of appreciation. Now let's address another aspect of relaxing and letting go, the release of limiting beliefs. Often what stands between us and our desires are the beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world. These beliefs might sound like I'm not good enough, money is hard to come by, love always ends in heartbreak, or success requires struggle. These beliefs create tension and resistance, blocking the free flow of our good. The key to releasing these beliefs is not to fight them or try to force them out of your mind. Remember, what you resist persists. Instead, simply choose a new assumption. Every time you catch yourself thinking a limiting thought, gently redirect your attention to its opposite. If you find yourself thinking, I'm not good enough, redirect to, I am more than enough. If you catch the thought, money is hard to come by, shift to, abundance flows to me easily and effortlessly. Don't try to believe the new thought. Simply choose and feel the relief and expansion that comes with it. Over time, as you persist in this practice, the new assumption will become your dominant belief. This is the essence of mental diet, consciously choosing the thoughts and assumptions you will entertain. Just as you're careful about what you put into your physical body, be mindful of what you feed your mind. Remember, your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts as true whatever you impress upon it with feeling. So feed it the thoughts and feelings that align with your desires. As you do this, you may find that your desires themselves begin to shift and evolve. This is natural and beautiful. As you raise your consciousness, as you release limiting beliefs that align with higher truths, your desires naturally refine themselves. You may find that what you once desperately wanted no longer holds the same appeal. You may discover new desires arising that are more aligned with your true self. Welcome these shifts. They are signs of your growth and evolution. This brings us to another crucial point, the importance of self-love in this process. Many people approach manifestation from a place of lack, believing that once they have what they want, then they'll be worthy of love and acceptance. But this gets it backwards. Self-love is not the result of manifesting your desires. It's the foundation upon which all successful manifestation is built. When you truly love and accept yourself as you are, you open yourself to receive all the good that life has to offer. So make self-love a priority. Treat yourself with kindness and compassion. Celebrate your strengths. Accept your perceived flaws as unique aspects of your beautiful self. As you do this, you raise your vibration and become magnetic to your desires. Remember, you are not separate from your desire. You are one with it. In fact, it's a sign for something is life calling you to express more of who you truly trust. Honor that call. Step into the version of yourself that already has what you desire. Now, to near the end of our time together, I want to remind you of a fundamental truth. You are the operant power in your life. Not your circumstances, not other people, not some external force. You are the author of your story. With every thought, every feeling, every assumption, you are writing the script of your life. And at any moment, you have the power to write a new chapter. So I invite you to step fully into this power. Claim it, own it. Use it consciously and deliberately to create the life you just desire. Remember, relaxing and letting go is not about passivity or resignation. It's about aligning yourself with the creative forces of the universe. It's about allowing your good flow to you without resistance. Don't force it. Don't struggle. Don't try to make it happen. Instead, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Alive from that state. And then relax, let go of the universe to bring it to pass in ways that will delight and amaze you. My dear friends, as we conclude this talk, I want you to know that everything you desire is already yours. It exists now in the realm of infinite possibility. Your task is simply to tune your consciousness to its frequency, to step into the version of reality where it's already a fact. Relax into the knowing that it is done. Let go of doubt, anxiety, and anxiety control. Trust in the perfect unfolding of your good. Live each day from the assumption that you are who you want to be, that you have what you desire. As you do this, you will find your world transforming before your very eyes. People, circumstances, events will rearrange themselves to match your new assumption. This is the law, and it never fails. So go with confidence, with faith, with the knowing that the entire universe is conspiring in your favor. Relax, let go, and allow the miracles to unfold in your life. Remember, it's already yours. Now step into that reality and claim it. Thank you, and may your lives be filled with the joy of your desires fulfilled.